In 1865, the first PCB was discovered, a byproduct of a coal-like residue. These were studied and refined until 1881, when they were recreated and dubbed as polychlorinated biphenyls by a group of German chemists. It was discovered that this new compound held great potential for use in products, as it had flame retardant properties as well as an odorless, pale yellow color, enabling it to be used in dyes. It quickly found its way into use in machinery and building supplies, and then later in electrical equipment and technology. Additionally, PCBs can be the unintentional result of products such as hydroseed, a combination of newspaper, fertilizer, and dye. This material was found to contain a PCB concentration of 2,500 parts per million, well above the legal limit. Once in the environment, PCBs are absorbed by small bacteria in the air and microscopic animals like plankton in the water. Because the larger creatures must eat great amounts of smaller creatures in order to live, they get a massively higher dosage of PCBs with each step up in the food chain. This is known as biomagnification. In Spokane, Washington, the local Native American tribes typically eat up to 2 pounds of salmon per person per day. The Spokane tribe water quality standard is 34 parts per quadrillion. The Spokane River, a large supplier of salmon to the local populations, has a PCB concentration of 0.008 parts per million upstream and 0.019 parts per million downstream. This presents an issue to many people who are concerned for the safety of those eating the fish. The Spokane River Regional Toxics Task Force has gathered to analyze the quality of water and research methods of purification for the health and safety of the region.
We're very excited about what the Spokane River Regional Toxics Task Force has been doing, because it's very pioneering work at getting community partners together to identify a very specific problem and specific solutions to it.
People who live around the lake use the fish and eat the fish, and so we're very interested in having healthy fish for them to eat. And also there's a lot of people that fish on the lake that do it for subsistence purposes. So we're very interested in getting healthy fish and having the lake in itself healthy and all of the PCBs removed as much as possible.
There are PCBs pretty much in everything. PCBs are ubiquitous regarding how sources are getting into the Spokane River. When we install all these advanced technologies, it's estimated that combined the wastewater treatment plants will be less than 1% of the overall contribution of PCBs to the watershed. So where are the other 99% coming from? Well, that's what the Toxics Task Force is tasked with. We're trying to find where those other sources of PCBs are coming from.
I think kind of the first thing, being an engineer, it's, get the data. What's the data telling you as terms of where are sources coming from? How big are they? Are they things that are ongoing sources, or is it, a legacy source that is already there? Or are there new things being added? What's the mechanisms that are going on?
The environmental problems and challenges and needs aren't as simple or straightforward as they were 40 years ago. And PCBs in the Spokane River is a perfect example of that. Here's a chemical that's, ubiquitous, it's everywhere, and it's rinsing off in very small amounts, but getting concentrated, in the fish in the Spokane River, and that's unhealthy.
So it presents a health risk, and that health risk can either be carcinogenic, meaning cancer-causing, or non-carcinogenic, which basically it means it has other effects on the body, such as in reproduction.
Technology that has never been employed before, using algae to treat wastewater. This is called the photobioreactor, and this is actually where the work is done. We mix algae with our final wastewater, and the algae is photosynthetic like a plant, and it takes up the nutrients. And what we're also finding is that it also assimilates the PCBs onto its cell walls also. We're then using membrane technology, which is a very, very, very fine filter that can separate the algae from the wastewater. So we're finding that we can remove a significant fraction of the remaining PCBs in our wastewater.
We need to eliminate PCBs as best we can, so it will have a positive impact on the fish we eat, so that the fish we eat, improve our health. First of all, remember, fish is really good food. It's a really healthy food. It's better for you than barbecued beef or, you know, grilled, you know, steaks and stuff like that. It's so much better for you that way. So it's worthy of protection. So how do we do that? Well, the best thing is we have to protect our waterways. And the best way we do that is through civic unity in making sure that we pursue the proper technology for treatment.